Whether it's bad planning, bad luck, bad timing, or bad inventions, well-intentioned bad decisions have plagued history for thousands of years. Welcome to Historic Hindsight. Hello and welcome to another episode of Historic Hindsight. I'm John, that's Tom, and today we're going to talk to you about Rumpelmints.
Rumpelstiltskins, well-hung Russians, or yeah, it's Rasputin, but yeah, it's close enough. Rumpelskins.
But
no,
all right.
Well,
so anyway,
anyways,
Rasputin.
If you know, you might have recognized the name from that tickety talk song, the Ra Ra Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. He was a cat who was really far gone. And if you listen to the whole song lyrics, it actually you just watch the song and you don't even have to listen to this episode because it pretty much covers everything.
Well, hold up. Let me go give it a listen real quick, and I'll save myself about an hour here.
Ra Ra Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was gone.
This is great.
Also, if you're not really familiar with him, he is the second coming of Christ or the Antichrist, depending on your perspective here in Russia.
Wait, hold up. You can't be both.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Some people would say he was the second coming. Other people would say he's the Antichrist. So
it seems like there shouldn't be such a fine line between those two things. It should be like he's the second coming, or maybe he's just a really good dude. Not it's either the second coming or he's the Antichrist. It shouldn't be that. Should
be that. Yeah. Well. It's that. He's also a Russian mystic healer who would ultimately befriend the Romanov family. If you're not familiar with them, they're the Tsarist family, the last Tsarist family, and be pretty much responsible for the fall of the Romanov Empire. So, way to go.
Well done there.
Rasputin.
Also, we're spending a lot of time on mystics lately. Was this just a
happy coincidence?
Thing of the times?
Yeah, just a happy coincidence, I think, that we were...
So when was Rasputin? When?
Well, all right. Well, we'll go with his early life. He was born on January 21st, 1869. His name was Grigory Rasputin, but everybody just called him Rasputin. And he was born in lovely Siberia along the Chura River as a peasant. So,
a Churro River.
Yeah, the Churro River.
Nobody's a peasant when you got Churro Rivers rolling through town.
I think you're thinking of churros.
Yeah, the delicious Mexican dessert.
A little different.
Nope.
If you're not familiar with Siberia, that's the place in Russia where they send all the baddies. Like if you committed a crime, you go to Siberia for punishment. If you're getting exiled from the empire's family, you get sent to Siberia for punishment.
Okay,
because it is
so Siberia is to Russia as Australia is to England.
Yes, exactly. So the people, he's not exactly growing up with the best, most friendliest people around him.
A rough upbringing, some might argue.
Yes. A few records exist from his early life, but his father was named Yefim, and he was born a poor farmer. He was the youngest of 8 children, although he is the only one that's going to survive past infancy. So,
well done there.
Well, yeah, so right away, his parents are like, he's one of 8 that survived. Miracle baby. So,
now, also, here's the thing. Could you imagine 8 times
having to bury a baby,
having a child and having it die before a year, essentially?
Yeah. Well, there was a few miscarriages, a few deaths at stillborns, and then a couple that died before their first or second birthday. Yep.
And real quick, again, if you have complications with your pregnancy, I feel for you. It's awful. It's terrible. But your baby is not the second coming of Christ. Much like in our Brother 12 episode, where they thought they were going to have the second coming of whoever, and then it was miscarried.
Yeah,
if you have a religious, being in you,
it's probably not going to be miscarried. Fine. Yeah, it's probably going to be fine. Well, that's why he survived, assume. Johnny, because he survived and all the other ones didn't, because he is the second coming.
There you go.
Now,
it sounds like he's the 8th.
He's From an early age, it was said that he could heal horses by touching them. He attributed this as people attributed this as him being the second coming of Christ. He also had this ability to predict what the neighbors were thinking or what was going on in their private life without things that he shouldn't know. Timmy over there is cheating on his wife, and he would go and be like, "Hey, your husband's cheating on you, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, how could this child possibly know any of this information? He must be a psychic," or he just went to the bar and
Or
listened to a speech around town.
homeboy just skulked around outside people's homes listening to them because he was a creepy little kid.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with that one. He also claimed that
Or the second coming. It's one or the
yeah,
other.
It's one or the other. He also claimed that he saw angels and demons and could predict, like I said, could predict the future. Again, like with the brother 12, if you have a child that is claiming that they're
this should have
seeing
been
angels
looked
or
at.
demons, maybe take them to the hospital to get evaluated, because
Or even just a doctor or a priest or an exorcist.
somebody.
Something.
As a young adult, he would get married to a lady by the name of Praskovia. I'm going to butcher these.
Praskovia.
Praskovia.
Oh, wait, no, it's not Italian. It's Russian.
Yeah.
Praskovia.
Praskovia. In 1887, he would have ultimately 7 kids, although only 3 of those kids would survive to adulthood. So apparently in Siberia,
Much better
it is not
odds.
the time to. Yes, much better odds, but not the time to be having kids, I guess.
Which also, for the second coming of Christ, maybe not great
Yeah.
that 4 of your children die before birth.
He was a raging alcoholic, an abusive piece of shit, or the average father in any small town America. So there's that. He would be more This is where he's getting the Antichrist thing more from Second Coming. So as a baby, he was like, "Oh, I can heal a horse," and then he went on from "I can heal a horse."
Okay, are there story? Does he heal a horse? What is going on with this? Is this just some BS?
Yeah, it's BS. But the rumor is that he could heal a horse by touching the horse. I don't know, but
what? You don't know what started that?
No,
or why?
but by heal a horse, he changed that to eventually stealing horses. So
oh, good, yeah, right, yeah.
He'd get himself.
It's just a couple of letters different.
Yeah,
really, when you think about it.
He'd get himself into trouble for stealing a horse, and then then the crime, the law comes after you, and this is back in the olden days where horse thieving was a good.
Also keep in mind, Russia.
Yeah, it's also Russia.
So today, I'm pretty sure you steal a horse, you get in
you
Russia.
still get killed in Russia. Yeah, it's probably.
In fact, I think I'm pretty much banned from ever going to Russia just because I said that.
We're probably already banned from Russia just from the name of Rasputin. But anyways. He would seek sanctuary at his local Christian monastery after stealing a horse, and the big angry mob comes after him. So he's like, sanctuary, sanctuary.
Wait, how many people were mad about the horse?
I don't know. I'm going to preface this with, there is an ass ton of speculation with Rasputin because,
so it's all just stories.
Russia and Siberia in 1869. So
all right, well, tell me all these tales.
Take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Raspolstiltskin.
So he would go into this monastery. He would learn the good book. He would become a dutiful Christian at this point, and
great.
And he decides, you know what? I'm gonna spread the word out into Siberia because there's nothing that the Siberians need. Not food. Not warmth, not clothing. They need the good book.
God.
So he goes off, becoming a wandering priest. Preaching the good book off, all over, and he's gonna.
Yeah, how does he survive as a wandering priest? Just on the kindness of others.
The kindness of others. Yeah.
How nice that.
Well,
he can just do whatever he wants and go take from the people who have very little to begin with. But he can go ahead and be a burden on them in exchange for damning them to a life in hell, likely.
Well, this is where it's going to get fun for you, Johnny, because see, in the late 1800s and early 1900s in Russia, there is a cult group called the Christi. They are a religious sect of Christianity, but they're not a religious sect of Christianity. They're just
yeah. Wait, I'm sorry. Are there non-religious sects of Christianity?
I don't know. Cults? I mean,
that can't be a thing.
I don't know. Anyways, he befriended this cult, and they would like to do things like purging themselves of sin, Johnny. So can you guess what purging yourself of sin might entail?
If I were to guess, I would say purging. Usually when you talk about purge, it's eating really well. It's drinking a lot of water, a lot of cucumbers involved. I imagine they're doing a lot of that. Maybe some prayer or meditation, I would imagine.
No, there's a lot of beating themselves bloody.
Oh.
There's also a lot of autoerotic asphyxiation where they like to choke themselves so they're about ready to pass out and then release.
But how? In what?
No, hold on.
What?
Just say they would like to spin
Mhm.
themselves around until they would get drunk from being dizzy, basically. So they're essentially cutting off the oxygen to their brain to the point where they're getting high,
Yeah.
and then after all of this is done, they like to culminate their experience by having sex with whatever's next to them in mass orgies. So
They would have loved whippets,
it's
is what you're
yeah, I'm
telling me.
telling you, yeah, if they would have had some aerosol,
Like,
Cool Whip cans, they would have been.
let's go, everybody!
Now, most of these members were normal Christians
Yeah.
who would
Yeah,
have,
yeah. Who were just
yeah,
into autoerotic
yeah, asphyxiation,
asphyxiation and other.
they'd go to their church, and then after their
Whipping.
church ceremonies were over, they'd go have their little secret ceremonies where they purge themselves of sin by having mass orgies.
It sounds like they're sinning a whole lot during this purging themselves of sin. Are you not supposed to treat your body as a temple?
Well, apparently,
What the hell kind of temple do you go and choke the life out of and slap a bunch? I mean, you're not
well,
gonna do anything to a temple that's made of bricks, but still, you know what I'm saying.
they as being a wandering priest, a part of this Christie group, he also had the practice of not bathing for whatever reason. They thought bathing is a bad thing. Do not bathe. So
How?
so
So cleanse the soul. Okay, cleanse the soul through orgies and drugs. Don't cleanse the body.
yeah, we don't want to cleanse the
through
body. No.
actual
So
cleaning it.
he never really took a bath, and if you ever look at pictures of Rasputin, yeah, you can kind of tell he's definitely that smelly kid in class. So
And yet,
he's having orgies.
the orgies.
Just let that sit in for a second. There are women. Think about a guy who hasn't showered for a month,
Ugh.
and then who's had orgies, like a lot of them, and then be like, you're the 20th in line to get that, and you want it because like he gets women all over the place. Like they're drawn to him for some reason, and
I
I don't
mean,
get it.
apparently he had like pheromones that just off the charts. They should have made colognes based on his pheromones because he had something going.
Well, it is rumored that he had something going downstairs, if you know what
No,
I mean.
yeah, no, you sent me a text message of that picture.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there later, Johnny. You're jumping the gun again. Eventually, his work would lead him back home, where he would have Christie meetings and orgies in his basement of his own house, where his wife and children were.
How you think you pull that off?
They-
Is it like they go to bed and then you got like a room into it, or
I don't know, because by all reports, his wife maintained faithful and obedient to him, even when he became popular and went to St. Petersburg and would like abandon his family for years at a time.
So did she just know?
even-
Did she like? Was she aware?
Even through all the orgies in the I mean, she had. How do you not
got
know
it.
an
I mean,
orgy's
you
going
know
on in the
something,
basement?
right?
Like you have to.
Well, even if not orgy, I mean something. There's if you're not allowed in, I'm guessing, or maybe she was.
Maybe
she was
hey,
offered,
maybe
and
she was a
then-
part of
and
it. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, I don't know.
And then he just, I mean, it sounds like she has some of that. What's that thing with Beauty and the Beast?
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah, it could be that. Although I don't think she was kidnapped. I think by all accounts it was like.
Well, no, but still, like you marry into it, and then like that's
I
people
think it's
don't.
stuck. Yeah. You
People
don't
don't
know.
leave abusive
I'm-
relationships because they think they're.
To be fair, I'm
doing
not
the right thing or
entirely
whatever.
sure how old she was when they got married, but he was only 18. So I guess
She must have been 8.
think about marrying somebody you were dating when you were like in high school.
Nope.
And being stuck with that person, Johnny.
Not gonna do that.
Think about that.
I don't want to do. I don't want to.
Now, these religious meetings, and this again where some speculation does exist, these religious meetings were actually investigated multiple times by religious clergy in the community who found no evidence of Christie activities.
So they were allowed to participate.
Basically. And so there's speculation as to whether or not...
Like, oh wait, well hold up. You want to try to catch us on something? Why don't you just come in and see how it is?
So basically everything with Rasputin,
take care of
you have to there's contradicting stories. Everything with Rasputin
course.
has a contradicting story. So we pretty much believe that he was probably a member of the Christie cult.
Okay.
But there is some evidence to suggest that maybe he wasn't, because it was investigated and found no Clisty activities. But we do know he participated in orgies, so I'm guessing Clisty. Or maybe he just
I
liked
mean, it
women.
sounds
Who
to
knows?
me like he just had like a PR guy out there being like, no. He's not in a cult. He's just got some game.
He's got some
Like
game.
he's just got it. You know, like I said earlier, when you got it, you got it.
When you got it, you
and
got
he
it.
has it.
Now, remember those visions he claimed about, Johnny, about
Right, yeah.
angels and demons and all that. Well, he's going to have another
Both.
one. Yeah, he's going to have another one where he sees the Virgin Mary, and the Virgin Mary
Oh.
tells him to go to St. Petersburg to protect the Romanov family. So we have a peasant who, granted, by this time has had a good reputation for being a mystic healer
Yeah.
out in Siberia. But how do how on earth is like, imagine a peasant coming up to the White
How do
House,
you-
knocking on the door and be like, hey,
Right.
I'm a mystic healer, let me in.
Hey, had a hallucination. You ready for my work?
You
We're
drinking-
good to go here,
You
right?
drinking a strong beer there, Johnny? You're already starting to...
So, quick story. I had a reception before this.
So you're already good to go.
So, number 3.
All right. Hey, and while we're taking a break, subscribe, like, and share. All that fun stuff.
That's right. Yeah, we're rolling up the numbers here.
We're getting
Over
subscribers a
200.
day.
It's
We're getting
fantastic.
subscribers a day, like 2 of them. It's great.
And y'all, we appreciate
We do
you so
appreciate it.
much. So, if you like our drunken rants and learning about history, subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us what you want to learn about.
Yep. So on to St. Petersburg. In 1904 or 1905, around that time frame, Rasputin would befriend Father Superior of the Seven Lakes Monastery outside of Kazan. He would then give him...
What a title!
Right? The Father Superior of the Seven Lakes Monastery. Yeah, it's a pretty good title. Father Superior is going to give him a recommendation to Bishop Sergei, who's also known as Iliador, who's kind of a big wig in the St. Petersburg scene. He knows the
Do we know
royal
why
family.
he's known as Iliagor when his name's not that at all?
No, it's just his
It's like just a nickname.
maybe
that we're giving
that's
people.
what he goes by. Like, that's what everybody calls him, but his real name was Sergei.
Okay.
So Sergei, or Iligor, or whatever, he's a bigwig at the Alexander Nevsky Monastery, and you might remember the name Alexander Nevsky from our way back, like third episode, something like that, way back in the day, the Russian war, the Winter War, where they fell into the ice thing. Johnny's way drunk. He
Battle
doesn't-
of the Ice.
The Battle of the Ice. Johnny's too drunk to remember anything.
Isn't that not it? Was
Yeah,
that
that's it.
not-
Yeah, Battle of the Ice. That's the one.
Yeah, you're the one that didn't remember that.
I didn't.
Come on,
So
son.
this recommendation would secure his travel to St. Petersburg, where Rasputin would actually basically be live-in with Sergei for a little bit. Sergei and Rasputin would meet the Archmatrodite Theophan, who's the inspector of theology seminary at St. Petersburg. So again, he's getting introduced to these big wigs. This is how he's getting his in.
I bet
with the
she's about to
Romanov
become
family.
the professor of theology and insemination.
So Theophan would become his friend, introduce him to the high society, allow him to live in there with him, and Sigori, Ilidor, or whatever his name is. Rasputin would not give a shit about high society, though, and would never change his ways. He still never bathed. He would point out women's faults. Like, this is a guy, when you look at a picture, shouldn't be like casting a stone about how you look, but he'd be like,
He's like, oh, she's got sharp knees. Type
yeah, you
deal.
got a sharp
Like
knee,
one
you
of
got a
those
big
guys,
nose.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't like any of that kind of stuff. And he would also pick his nose and eat it in public, like just not giving a crap. Boop, boop, boop. You know the guy who's in the car who picks his nose
Come
and,
on, man.
flicks it? Like, I mean,
No,
I
hey,
do.
you're in the car. You're in the car.
But he's doing
right.
this out in public, like just not even caring.
Right.
He also would, at this point, have a reputation for continuing to take prostitutes to bathhouses where, he would do everything but bathe. He would he would take them into the bathhouse, get naked, have his way with them, and then leave without ever touching any kind of water or soap or nothing.
So he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't one of those guys that like, oh, I went swimming. I don't need to bathe. I don't need a shower. I just got out of a swim. Not even that.
Nope. He's just
Just a filthy man.
filthy man. In 1905, this shunning of high society actually got him in good graces with a group of sisters called the Crow Sisters. They were Princess Militissa and Anastasia, who are outsiders that married into the Romanov family.
Has Disney done these yet?
I think this is Anastasia from the. I don't know if it was a Disney movie, but there was a cartoon Anastasia.
There was an Anastasia.
Yeah,
Anastasia's familiar.
I think
That's
this
why
is
I
the,
asked.
I think this is that Anastasia. They're called the
Okay.
Crow Sisters because they have really big pointy nose, and it's the 1900s. We don't have a lot of good nicknames
Yeah.
for women.
Yeah,
So,
and women are objects and don't matter. And
yeah.
then we just,
So
yeah.
so these Crow Sisters, being outsiders themselves, like take to Romanov, like not Romanov, sorry, Rasputin, take to him, and they're like, hey. We're outsiders. You like to pick your nose. I heard you're well hung down there. Let's go
Yeah,
to the bathhouse.
Love them pheromones. You're smelling pretty good from 10 feet away, so let's get after it.
It's through these sisters that he's actually going to meet Tsar Nicholas on November 1st, 1905. After this meeting, Rasputin would briefly return home to, visit the family that he
Wait,
abandoned.
these women knew the Tsar?
Yes, yeah, they're married into they're like his, like in-laws. They're married into the
Okay.
Romanov family. So,
This is wild. What connections he has.
right? This is how the Crow sisters come back. They're important. So remember the Crow
Okay.
sisters. So after meeting Tsar Nicholas, like just a normal informal like I'm a mystic, I can heal things, and everyone's like, oh okay.
No, they're just like, and the women introducing them to the Tsar are like, hey, this guy's got a big dick. Love him.
Maybe listen to him. So he's gonna, Rasputin's gonna go briefly return home to, like I said, to visit the family that he abandoned like 2 years ago and just left. Like
He's
bye,
gonna
guys.
visit them now.
Yeah, he goes back home and he visits them for a little bit. But he does.
How? What is that interaction like? How do you approach a?
Hey, I've been gone
They
for
don't
2
wanna
years.
see you.
Like,
By now, they don't want anything to do with you.
I gotta have some orgies in the basement. basement.
And he might. What'd you do down here? You threw out all my stuff? I swear to God, come on. I was going to use that again. Jesus, the balls on this guy.
Now, in this time, Tsarina Alexandra and Tsar Nicholas would have a son named Alexei, after multiple daughters. So this is their only male heir, and of course, this is the time when if you don't have a penis,
That's all that
you're not
matters
worth-
because
yeah,
women don't matter.
Women
Yeah,
don't matter.
right. No, we're. Of course not. Why would they?
Don't
It's-
quote
it's not-
historic
it's not-
hindsight on that. Women don't matter. That's not going on a T-shirt.
I mean, okay, sorry though, but if you want to take a look at history,
Women don't matter.
tell me that's not a tagline for history.
It definitely, maybe it will be a T-shirt now. Damn it, Johnny.
We're not saying it's right. We don't agree with it, but that's a tagline for history.
Now, Alexandra believed that this magical baby boy being born was due to her religious healing mystic, Dr. Philip, which is the funniest name for a mystic.
Dr. Philip?
Just Dr. Phil. maybe Dr. Phil's a reincarnate of Dr. Philip.
I mean, the hipper, cooler version. He's not Dr. Philip anymore.
He's Dr.
Shortened
Phil.
it. Just Dr. Phil.
He's gonna, he allegedly prayed over them to have a son. The son was born, but the son is going to be afflicted with hemophilia, which obviously at this time is not the most known thing. But if you don't know, hemophilia basically means your blood just doesn't clot. So if you get a cut, it could be bad.
Yeah,
you
you
don't
just
heal.
bleed and bleed
Yeah,
and bleed and bleed and bleed.
So he does have this ailment, this affliction. The family, the
That
Romanov family,
can I just say, a disease where you bleed excessively is real bad for the second coming of Christ.
Well, that's not him. He doesn't have that disease. This is
Well,
is Tsar's. The Tsar's kid has this disease.
The Tsar's kid. Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. You mean thank Rasputin? So their son is afflicted, but the Romanov family, they do a good job of, or they think they do a good job of keeping it like in house. Like nobody knows little Alexei is sick. Like nobody knows.
So they know something's wrong, but they obviously don't know what it is or why, right? Like,
Exactly.
they're not there yet with medical technology.
Exactly.
They just know he's messed up somehow.
So you remember those Crow sisters?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to come back around because they're going to
You just talked to him about 3 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago. Well, they're going to let Rasputin know, hey, the Romanovs have a son, Alexei. He is a little sickly child who bleeds a lot. Why don't you go up and like introduce yourself again to the
can
family?
heal
And you're a mystic healer, right? You can heal with your magical touches,
If you can heal a horse, you can heal a young child, right?
right? So the Crow sisters do another introduction to the Tsar and the Tsarina, and he's like, hey, listen, the Virgin Mary, she came down and talked to me again.
Again?
again. And she said, I am your only hope at saving your child's life. Me.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nobody else. Me. I'm
Yeah.
your hope. So around October of 1906, young Alexei's gonna get an injury. He's gonna scrape his knee and get like a bad hip injury, and he's gonna just bleed and bleed and bleed. No, it's just not working. So when Rasputin comes and says, I only me, I am your savior. I can do it. They're like, all
his
right,
hand
well,
on
I guess give it a shot. I mean, you can't.
I mean, yeah, at some
make it any
point when
worse.
you have a sick child, you're going to allow everybody who claims they can help heal him to heal him.
So Rasputin goes into the room and gets everybody out. Says, "Oh, doctors leave, family leave, everybody has to leave, so I can perform."
He can only heal in front of nobody.
In front of
He's got
nobody.
to
He's doing
concentrate so much. Is that what it is?
That's what it is. He's doing that.
Got to pull
And-
all that power down from God.
And after a few weeks, magically, all of a sudden, like Alexei's healing, like the cut is healing, and his hip is
After-
getting better.
How long?
But a couple weeks or so, he starts to
Couple
heal.
weeks.
So what
Multiple weeks pass.
so what it boils down to,
And they're like, it's because of him,
It's because-
not just because of time.
well, what it boils down to, and what most modern doctors think when they look back at this unexplainable thing, is it wasn't unexplainable. First, the doctors were giving,
Of course not.
they were giving him aspirin. So giving aspirin, a blood
They're
thinner
giving
to somebody
blood thinner to a
who's-
dude whose blood won't clot.
isn't helping. So when Rasputin
Did they
comes and kicks out-
Did they try having him wash it down with whiskey too?
Maybe. So when Rasputin comes and kicks the doctors out, he gets rid of the aspirin regimen. He also stops the doctors from like making him get up and walk around. So like he's like, no, just lay down and rest for a little bit. So his magical healing is, for a scrape, is don't give him aspirin and just let him be, and he'll heal.
Let his body figure it
thing.
out.
But the Romanovs, like, they're
This is
hooked.
like- this
They're
is-
hooked.
this is
He
sitcom-
saved their kid.
This is sitcom
Level stupid.
style levels of it's just the thing that everybody was doing to him was killing him, and then somebody came in and they're like, you have to stop that, but not because I said so and think so, just because I need space and time with him. And he's just like, just sleep, let your body do it. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm gonna put my hand on your head like I did a horse once.
But
And
like I said, but to the Tsar and the Tsarina, this was like holy shit. He's the real deal.
no, it's progress, I suppose.
It's helped because Tsar Nicholas befriends Rasputin. They become buddies, and Tsar Nicholas, he's a czar, man. So he's got headaches. He's running the country. Like, he's got his own set of ailments. Like, this is stressful.
life stuff, yeah.
Life's tough. So Rasputin introduces him to cocaine and opium,
Oh,
and they get high together. And I'm sure they never went into any bathhouse together to mingle with locals. And
well,
over-
no, they would have been going in there to bathe,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
shit. No, not that.
And if you know anything about opium, it's pretty addictive shit. So it didn't take long.
Also
for-
cocaine.
And also,
Also,
cocaine, yeah.
also, can we-
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, yeah.
It's
So eventually the Tsar's like, man, when Rasputin's not around and we're not getting blazed out of our minds, I have a lot of headaches.
I'm real sad.
I needed to come back.
Weird.
So he started coming more and more often. And in Alexandra, Tsarina Alexandra, she's the same thing. Like, she's like, I've got headaches too. Can I have some? Yes, you can. And when they would get high together, there was rumors that they were, euphoria together.
I mean, you're saying that
I'm
a
saying
couple
the
people
song
early
doesn't say-
1900s doing cocaine and opium together. You're saying they might got a little rowdy.
They got a little rowdy.
Might have let their instincts take over a little
Yeah.
bit. Might have gotten rid of any inhibitions they had
Yeah.
before they did opium and cocaine, which also uppers downers mixing, not great.
No, not
but
great. But yeah, they're doing the uppers and downers, and so the rumor came flying around that Rasputin was the lover of the Russian queen. That's where the song comes from. He also started getting really, really close to Nicholas's daughters, and the nanny's like, I don't don't know if I like this because the older daughters have started going through puberty, so they're at the ripe age of like doing things, and Rasputin's like they're call like it's a little weird. So Rasputin
Yeah,
starts calling
little.
Rasputin starts calling Tsar Nicholas and Tsarina Alexandra mommy and daddy, which makes the whole orgy thing a little bit more like weird. Like that's
Not Poppy,
yeah,
not
no.
hey Poppy.
Hey, papi. No,
It
like
just
mommy and daddy,
mommy and daddy.
yeah.
That's weirder.
And
Yeah.
then then the kids are like, well, he's our best friend. He's just our big brother. Like let's let him sleep in bed with us. Rasputin is going to get accused of rape by a maid who Alexandra fires because how dare she lie about being raped by Rasputin?
I mean, right.
And then the nanny suspicions kept growing and growing and growing because quite literally at this point, Rasputin's sharing the bed with the daughters. And so she goes up to Tsarina and says, maybe don't let this guy you know very little
This
about
grown ass man.
lay in the bed with your fucking daughters.
He's a grown ass man at this time, right?
Yeah, grown ass man. Yeah.
Like, you can call anybody you want mommy and daddy if you're 40 years old or whatever the fuck. Like, what? Good God. What is wrong with...
So you know what happens?
Okay, all right. Russian czars and stuff. Is it one of those inbred things? Family? Like,
I don't think
whatever?
I don't think the Romanovs was super. I mean, with any royalty, I'm sure there was some
are they just
line of inbreeding. but they're
power
not-
hungry, dumb, didn't care?
No,
Like,
they're
how
not
are
the-
you... How is this...
He's
happening?
He's got like some kind of magical hold over them, and that what is that
Oh.
magical hold? Oh yeah, the opium and cocaine. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's a drug
addiction.
dealer. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
addiction. And so they're whoring out their children for opium and cocaine. Fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds like my old job, which I don't have to worry about past tomorrow. By the time you listen to this, I'm no longer doing that garbage. Anyways, so now so the nanny comes up to Alexandra and is like, hey, like don't let him do that. Can you guess what happens to the nanny?
I'm guessing she's promoted and given some type of position of power.
Fired
for
and off to
turning-
Siberia.
Oh, to Siberia.
Get away! Get out of here!
Not
You're
even,
gone.
not
You're
even, not
exiled.
even just fired. Like
Yeah,
fired,
exactly.
and also you're going
go.
to go live in a slum.
So this is going to lead to our first assassination attempt of Rasputin, which gets him the credit of the man that's never gonna die. And these things that happen to him are actually really pretty remarkable. So his religious atrocities didn't go very well with the religious aristocracy. Like him running around town
You don't say.
going, I see demons, and then
I
having
am the
sex with
second coming.
everybody, and they're like,
yeah.
we don't like that. And so
Yeah.
do you remember Iliador? The guy who kind of got him into the position where he's at. Yeah,
Yep.
Iliador's like, I know, like you can't go around saying that you see demons and then claim to be the second coming of Christ. It's a little counter, and I don't like that you're having sex with everybody, including the Romanovs' kids. You probably shouldn't be doing that. And so they claim that his power over people and his healing abilities are actually coming from the devil. So Iliador and another priest, they ambush Rasputin and beat him with a wooden crucifix to like a bloody pulp.
Yep.
And say, we're going to beat the devil out of you. And quite
Right,
literally,
that's how you do it. Yeah,
try to-
everybody knows. Yeah,
to beat
open
the-
up the book.
Yeah, try to
like,
beat the
of
devil
how
out.
to beat the devil out of people. It's with a cross.
But instead of beating the devil out of him, he ran back to mommy and daddy and said, hey, those guys are trying to kill me. So they would naturally
Fair.
be exiled out to Siberia. Although Iliador, he's going to dress like a woman and escape, so he doesn't actually have to go to Siberia. Like he gets out. I think it's like Sweden or Switzerland, one of those Nordic countries. That
He gets away. That's some Shakespeare stuff right there.
dressing
Like
like a
that's
woman,
like
This big bearded man dressing like a woman. What do you mean?
dressing as a woman to escape. I imagine him sitting on a train, like 6'5", sitting
Now-
there with a little like scarf over his head.
Yeah. Now later, it turns out that Rasputin wasn't wrong because Iliador was in fact trying to kill him, because what Iliador does next after being excommunicated, whatever, ousted, leave, he's going to Rasputin is going to go back home to visit his family again. So we got that. So while he's on his way back home to visit his family again, Ilyador hires a prostitute, a noseless prostitute named Guseva on July 12th.
I'm sorry, strange choice for a
Nose-
noseless woman.
Yeah, and there's I should hopefully have a picture up of her. Yeah, definitely like disfigured, absolutely no nose.
Although, I guess at that time, with no sense of smell, Rasputin might be a
okay.
gem.
Yeah, he might be a gem. So on July 12th, 1914, Rasputin sees this noseless prostitute. He's like, hey,
No sense of smell.
you look like it might be another a good time. But as he approaches her, she stabs him in the stomach multiple times. Actually, reaches her hand in, grabs a hunk of intestines, and just rips it out, and leaves him for dead. But somehow he doesn't die. He gets to a Siberian hospital, gets sewed up, somehow doesn't get an infection, and lives.
I'm sold.
In 1914.
This dude was the second coming. He just touched down in the wrong part of the world.
It's for being stabbed in the stomach, intestines ripped out. This is the movie Braveheart, where they're
I'm
disemboweling.
sorry. If you're set out to kill somebody, you never leave them to die.
Yeah, no, you keep going until they don't move anymore.
You make sure they're dead until you leave them.
There's that.
Like what? This is. All right, I can't wait to hear about all of the lives that could have been altered and made better had this lone assassin simply finish the job. Pull the intestines out, it's fine. Whoosh, slice him in half? He's not coming back from that.
No, yeah, if you cut the intestines, you're good because we didn't have the technology in 1914 to fix that. Now, I will spoiler alert a little bit here there for you, Johnny. All the lies that would have been made better. Inadvertently, her not killing him results in the revolution of Russia, the 1917 revolution.
Oh.
Which inadvertently leads to communism in Russia, which inadvertently leads to Stalin and all the fun stuff that happens in World War II, which inadvertently leads us to, Putin today. So the answer is countless lives could have been saved if she actually did the job the right way.
Now, imagine the afterlife exists.
Right?
And she's looking down on everything that she did.
She's like,
with perspective, clarity, everything. Just being like, all I had to do was after the stomach and the ripping was a little to the throat. That's it. And I didn't do it. I wanted him to suffer or whatever.
So while he's recuperating in Siberia, also right around July 12th, 1914, there were some other events that happened, including some Grand Duke somewhere getting shot by some Serbian guy, and the whole World War I thing kicks off.
Oh, so that assassination attempt or assassination of
Franz Ferdinand.
Franz Ferdinand. Yeah. Oh wait,
they're not
just an early 2000s rock band.
No, they're not an early 2000s rock band. They're not just, but that has nothing to do with this, other than they happened in the same time frame. But while
gives you some perspective of when this was going on.
So while he's healing, World War I kicks off, and Tsar Nicholas is like, yeah, I finally have my chance to prove I'm a man by killing people. Yeah,
but not me. Him.
He's gonna go. He's gonna go.
He's gonna go.
Yeah, he's gonna go.
Okay, all right.
Fair
enough.
And Rasputin's fine. Like, maybe you don't want to do that because, what the hell does an assassination of a duke in Austria have anything to do with Russia? But
sure,
go if you want, I guess. But it's going to be your downfall. So Rasputin,
an opportunity is an opportunity.
Rasputin's trying to warn him, but Nicholas is like, screw you, I'm going anyways. Which actually wound up in Rasputin's favor, because what happens is when Rasputin's healed, he goes back to St. Petersburg and becomes, by default, the Tsar of Russia. Because while Nicholas is out fighting, Rasputin's at home, putting it to the Russian queen. So he starts to lead, and the people around him are
Did the queen's husband go off and die, or just go off and fight?
Well, Nicholas is going to die, but not in the war.
Not now.
Not now.
So he's just off fighting
he's trying to lead the army. Yep.
and leading, being like, I'm going to be a hands-on leader.
Yep.
In the meantime, Rasputin comes and be like, well, I'm schlepping your wife, so I'm going to go ahead and just start running things too, because I'm going to put myself in all the positions that you were previously.
All the positions, yes. I like your phrasing there, Johnny. Good. So it doesn't take long before the people in Russia are like, I don't think.
Why is this dude that's stupping this other dude's wife who's trying to actually fight for our country? Why is he in charge of making decisions?
And
I can understand the confusion.
Yeah, and millions of Russians are dying on the front. Bread price doubles and triples during this time frame. So the people in
Which,
Russia, the peasants,
for everybody at home, at the time, bread was literally the only thing anybody could buy in anywhere in the world. Which is why bread prices is always what they use to talk about what's going on with the economy.
Yep. So all the poor peasants are like, I'm starving. I'm dying in a war that makes no damn sense. We have some crazy mystic stripping a wife and making all the rules while the czar is off doing.
Yeah, we got stepdad coming in here telling us that he's in charge now and we got to follow his rules. We don't want that.
So they're like maybe we don't want to tolerate this. And of course, if this is what the low people are thinking, imagine what the aristocracy is thinking. Like this guy who doesn't bathe and smells like ass and picks his nose and stuffing all of our daughters.
Okay, so I imagine if this is anything
like
like America, the aristocracy loves this guy.
No, they hate him.
Oh, so it's not like America at all
And
in any way, shape, or form.
Rasputin knows that he's not really well liked by the aristocracy, and he warns Tsar Nicholas. He says, listen, if any of your family or members of the aristocracy kill me, your whole family is going to die because the people are going to rise up against you. Now, what he meant to say is the people are rising up against you because I'm a shit leader and have taken over, but when your family kills me to try to, instill some level of normalcy, they're going to still kill you because, they're already pissed off.
So it's basically just like you're waiting to... I'm a powder keg.
Yeah. There's a powder keg.
You can light me. You'll get rid of me. You're coming with me.
But everybody's coming with kind of like that. So enter a group of nobles led by Prince Felix Yusupov. So Yusupov is a family member of the Romanov family. So he's a prince, Prince Felix Yusupov. He has his rich friends, and they're like, we've had enough of this garbage. So they lure Rasputin to Yusupov's house under the guise that, hey, Tsarina Alexandria, she's not feeling great. So we need you to come over here and cheer her up.
Okay, yeah.
So when he's in the house on December 30th, 1916, they're like, oh, well, she's upstairs waiting. While you wait for her to be ready for you to come and, cheer her up, why don't you eat these cakes and wine? We totally didn't do anything to the cakes and wine. Just eat them.
Don't worry about these. Oh, no, that one. No, this one's yours. This one is especially for you. It's more full. So it's better.
These cakes are laced with cyanide, and the wine is laced with cyanide. And he's not dying. He's eating the cakes like, this is good shit.
That's a secret. He's been dosing cyanide for the past 20 years.
It's
microdosing.
It's a Princess Bride. So the trick is I poisoned both cups. So Yusupov's like, shit, this isn't working. So he goes and grabs his revolver and shoots him in the chest and kicks him down the basement stairs.
Again, what did they not know how bodies worked in the early 1900s? They knew how to kill people by then.
It's a bigger target.
They were killing plenty of people, but they shot him in the chest.
Now this is where
time, I imagine, right?
This is where the whole miracle of him being alive and stuff starts to come through. But remember, he got shot in the chest.
No, shoot him in the head. See if he survives.
He gets shot in the chest once, kicked down the flight of stairs in the basement, and then the whole group of conspirators decide, well, we gotta cover our tracks a little bit. So they take Rasputin's vehicle and they drive it back to Rasputin's house, so that it looks like, to the average person on the street who gives a shit, that Oh, well, he came home for the night. So after they, drop the car back off at Rasputin's to cover their tracks, they go back to the house, and Yusupov is, he's like, well, maybe Rasputin's not dead. So he goes back down to the basement to check on Rasputin. Rasputin's sitting there, and all of a sudden his eyes fly open, and he starts beating the shit out of Yusupov. And Yusupov's like, it's a zombie, and runs out. And goes.
Wait, so he doesn't kill him?
So he didn't.
He doesn't like.
No, Rasputin's up and he's fighting.
But he has a
ready to
gun
go.
bullet in his chest.
Doesn't
Bullet
matter.
in his chest.
Doesn't matter. He's fighting, and so Yusupov runs outside to all the other conspirators, like, it's a fucking zombie. And Rasputin's like, Ra Ra Rasputin, lover of the. As he's coming out doing his little fucking Russian dance.
He had to have been just so hopped up on cocaine all the time.
He's like, ah!
Like, did he invent PCP?
He might have. And so all the conspirators are like, shit! And they take their guns out and they shoot him 3 more times, including once in the head.
Finally, someone shoots him in the head.
He's got to be dead, right? So they roll his ass up in a rug and they huck him off of a bridge into the river. And they're like,
he doesn't survive this.
Job done.
Tommy, he doesn't survive that. Job's done, right? Job is done.
So obviously,
they did what I told them to do earlier, which was finish it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, 3 times shot, once in the head,
he should be
rolled up rug in a river.
Yeah. So
that's finishing the job.
Again, remember speculation here, but any case, so Rasputin's famous enough that people are like, Rasputin's missing. Something fucky's going on. So Rasputin's body is going to be found under the ice on January 1st. And allegedly, when his body was found and pulled out of the ice, his arms were up as if he was clawing at the ice to get out.
Or just...
Yeah, or
he
just...
was thrown into a rug like this and rolled up and then thrown into an icy river.
I'm giving you the story, Johnny. You
okay.
Decide what you want. After they did an autopsy, they did find out that there was water in the lungs, suggesting that he was alive when they hucked him in the river. Although, really what it boils down to is he got shot in the fucking chest, and water just kind of happened to go in the bullet hole. But
right, yeah, maybe, or maybe he just survived 4 gunshots, 1 to the head,
cyanide poisoning. They also did the autopsy did find cyanide poisoning, so it wasn't like he didn't like.
So he was legit Princess Briding it.
He legit like ingested cyanide and didn't die outright from the cyanide. Now, because his body was so used to just drugs, copious amounts of cocaine
and just awful
opium.
things, and it's like, hey, oh shit, you're doing this again? All right, fine, I'll start processing whatever, I'll get on it. Like, that's what was going on. Like, good God.
Rasputin accurately predicted, like, after I die, shit's gonna hit the fan, and oh my God, the Russian Revolution happened that nobody could have seen coming, and so the whole Romanov family gets kind of from the whole Russian Revolution thing.
Also, that prediction, like, I'm gonna go ahead and make that prediction before I die too.
Yeah, right. If I die, everybody that's responsible is gonna die.
Everything's gonna get bad after I die. Like, literally every single celebrity that died over the past 4, 5, 6 years, whatever, we could have said that about, and we would have been right.
We would have been right. So
because turns out people are just trash, and we're running this world into the ground.
Cheers. Yeah. After the fall of the Tsar, the Romanov family, things aren't going great in Russia. But what the new Russian
good thing World War I will probably help him, right?
Yeah, it's still going on. So the new Russian government that gets overthrown, like Russia after the 1917 revolution, look it up. We'll do an episode on it because it's crazy. But this new government was afraid that the supporters of the Romanov family would view Rasputin's gravesite as like this holy place, this pilgrimage zone, and we can't have that. So they decided.
So they were afraid they were going to deify him.
They were afraid they were going to deify him. So they decided to dig up Rasputin's body and cremate him and just fucking scatter his ashes. So at least there's not a rallying point for Rasputin.
So they scattered his ashes in multiple places throughout the country, I assume?
No, I think they just kind of just dumped him out in an undisclosed location. Like, we don't care. He's cremated, whatever. But allegedly, the conspirators had cut off Rasputin's penis.
Wait, the people who were trying to get rid of him?
The original killers had allegedly cut it off, and then
Why?
had allegedly, I don't know, because he's raping all their daughters, probably, Johnny. I
Okay.
don't.
So probably a pre-killing torture type
Mm-hmm,
thing, maybe.
And in St. Petersburg, there is a museum where there is an alleged Rasputin penis. Fun fact, though, there were actually 4 alleged penises floating around, claiming to be the one true Rasputin penis.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I sent you or you sent me the picture of it. Dude's got a gross dick.
It's a gross dick. Yeah. Although
It's
to be
gross.
fair, it is 100 years old and pickled at this point. So, but still.
I mean, I can't help
gross.
that. All I can do is judge on the evidence that I've seen.
Yeah, it is gross.
Gross dick, dude.
Likely though, those 4 penises floating around are all fake because the original coroner said like dude's penis was intact when I buried him.
Whose penises do you
I
think
don't
this is?
I don't know, Johnny.
like some poor sap is there dead, deceased, nobody, penis floating around, somebody claiming that
It's
it's
Rasputin,
Rasputin's.
somebody else's, yeah. Although
Do you
who's
think
ever
they're proud or
I don't know who's
sad?
well the size I guess would make you proud, but
I don't know.
it looks like it had a couple of sexually transmitted diseases on it at some point.
Ah, you don't say.
It looks rough. There's still some pubes floating around. This is gonna get us banned on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
The explicit
It's going to be
talk
tagged
about
as pornographic
Probably.
because you're describing
the disgusting.
Rasputin's disgusting member.
We do not encourage at all any of you after listening to this to go home and Google Rasputin's penis.
No, but I do encourage everybody to go ahead and set up a way to pickle your own penis after your death so that your lore may also live on forever.
Mine will not be that impressive.
Ah, it doesn't have to be. Get a tiny mason jar. That's it for this week in Historic Hindsight. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and join us next week when we talk about Prohibition.